Okay, great, great, great. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to this live session. Welcome. Good evening to, I don't know, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, based on your location, based on your time. If you can hear me, please just put up, I can hear you in the screen, so I see that. If you can hear me, just put out on the screen that I can hear you, or just put an emoji and let me know that you can hear me. You can hear me audibly. If you can hear me, just put up an emoji in the comment section, or you just type I can hear you or anything, right? Let me know that we are together. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great, awesome, awesome, outstanding. I can see some few people joining already. Um, I think okay, okay, awesome, awesome. That's wonderful. That's great. That's really, really great. Okay, splendid, splendid, awesome. So, hope we all had great day today, and we're going to be diving in. We're going to be seeing how to write your CV correctly, how to write your resume, how to write your cover letter, how to write your motivation letter, the differences between these different things and stuff like that. Right, we're going to be seeing that through today. So, for introduction again, my name is Success Kim Afani. I'm your host for tonight. So, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Hope you guys can. You guys see my screen? If you can see my screen, just type screen in the comment section. If you can see my screen, just type screen in the comment section, please. Yeah, awesome, awesome, great, great, great. That's outstanding. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go straight now. Just so you know, I did something. I'm going to compile everything we're going to do today into summarized version in a document form that's a PDF, so that if you forget something or if you need to check back on something, you don't need to come and watch this whole video, right? You could just go quickly to it. You scroll down to the section that you're looking for, and you get a highlight of what you're doing. So at the end of today or by tomorrow morning, you guys will have it. I haven't yet edited it yet, but practically this is it that we're going to be using today. So let's say you want to apply for something, be it an internship, be it let's say scholarship or whatever you want to apply for, right? You start by asking your why. You start by asking your why. Let me see, can this guy see me? Okay, Dema, good evening. I can see you. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, thank you for dropping that. Great, great, great. So let's dive in. Now, I was saying, whatever you want to apply for, be it an internship, scholarship, job, an offer, a gig, what a contract, whatsoever, right? You start with your why. Why are you applying? Now, let me explain why I'm saying this, because if your why is clearly defined, you will know how to approach it, right? When you know your why, you will know how to go about it. But if you don't know your why, you could just do it randomly. There's this scenario that people do: you write one CV, one cover letter, and you use it for every job opportunity that you have. No, I believe, and that's the standard way for doing things, that you need each CV for each opportunity. Even if they are the same roles, let's say both of them are, let's say, role for an accountant, but companies have different goals, you understand? So you need to understand why you're applying. You need to read through the descriptions. Now we're going to be a little bit practical. I'm going straight to LinkedIn right now and I'm going to show you guys something. Let's take an example. Let's go find a job and let's look at it. Let me pull this down. Apollo, go down. So let's go to jobs. Let's type something like accountant. Accountant. Let's see. Let's see what that gives. Okay, that's no. I was in the wrong place. Yeah, accountant. Okay, good. There's no one. Let's just put worldwide. I'm gonna take worldwide. There should definitely be an opening for an accountant somewhere. Great. Now you see this one here, right? CPA accountant. CPA accountant. So what you do is when you've seen what you're looking for, right? Let's say you've seen an opening. Why is this thing? Why is this thing disturbing me? Apollo, get out, get out. Sorry, this is just a tool that I like using. Give me a second, please. I don't know why it's disturbing today. Goodness. Anyways, we're just gonna go through that. So what you do is right when you see it, okay, that's an opening. What you do is you want to go to the details, right? You read about the company, you read about it, read attentively. They say our company provides US accounting services with over 12 years experience. So this already tells you that this is an accounting firm, right? So they need you to add your services. It's not like a company just needs one accountant. It's a firm with a lot of accountants, right? So they provide that services. So you want to look at that. You look at the details, read the description, read the qualifications. Now, this will help you such that when you're drafting, be it your CD, be it your cover letter, whatever you're drafting, it gives you an open mind on you should, what the people are expecting of the ideal person, right? Because truth be told, nowadays, a lot of applications go through screening by artificial intelligence. A lot of this is done by AI. You're going to see an opening, especially on LinkedIn, right? You're probably going to see like they say 100 plus people, but if you have LinkedIn Premium, you see details. They're going to show you like 600 people have applied for that same stuff. You get, and no human resource personnel is going to sit down and scroll through 600 different profiles. They need to check your CV, your cover letter, probably your LinkedIn profile. Nobody's going to do that. You get, so AI is going to screen probably and eliminate like 550 people, and then the remaining 50 now is going to be read by humans. So for you to even bypass that AI part, you need to be very, very careful. Check on your qualifications, check on your experience, check on what the job is in demand, what are the skills that are required, right? You want to modify, you need this because you need to have an heads up on what you're doing, how you're going to write it, the language that these people understand. It seems like let's say you're selling let's say you're trying to sell biscuits, you're selling biscuits to kids in the primary school or something, right? You cannot start talking to them, let's say using words like mesmerized, dumbfounded, astonished, flabbergasted, things like that. Those are probably for people who are already at a university level. A lot of them won't even understand what you're saying, right? Those are terminologies that kids are not concurrent with. So you need to speak the language of the people that you're trying to relate with. You need to speak the language of the company, speak the language of the school, speak the language of the firm, the enterprise, whatsoever you're trying to target, right? This is the easiest way. Else, you're just going to continue, and at the end of the day, you feel like LinkedIn is useless, Indeed is useless, all of this stuff. There's nothing happening. No, there are a lot of things happening. You get, so define your why. Why are you doing that? Right? Why are you doing what you're doing? Now, when you've identified that, the next thing you want to do is let me go back to LinkedIn. Sorry. When you've read through the job description, you look the qualifications, you look at the offer. Okay, the offer especially, I just like looking the offer. They say remote home office work environment. That's perfect. 21st century working environment, awesome. It means they're going to supply you all your working environments, your desktop, probably a laptop if need be, camera and stuff like that for your webcam and everything. Education and further training, perfect. Flexible working hours, okay, that's great. Continuous professional development, competitive income and stuff like that. Okay, so when you've gone through it, you don't just go and apply for everything. In fact, as a matter of fact, when you're going to understand these things, you will select the things that you do. You select the people that you even want to work for because you will position yourself in such a way that people will be rushing after you. Last week, when we are doing the live session, I showed you guys live experience of somebody who was rushing to me and stuff like that. I wanted us to do things, blah, blah, blah. You get right? So that's the situation you want to put yourself in. Now, when you have defined your why, you start going now. Your first document, obviously, you want to do is your CV. So here are some tips for writing a good CV. Let me explain something. There is no perfect CV, but there is a bad CV. And I'm going to show you guys from my own personal experience, right? So you start by your structure. There are a lot of structures and a lot of formats on Word. Let's just go to, I'm just going to type something. Okay, let's go to new. No, come out here. Let me show you guys quickly something. Vo- right, you see, right, these are samples of CVs in Word document that you can use and edit by yourself. You don't just use an empty Microsoft sheet and just be writing stuff as if you're writing a letter to your friend. No, use a structure, define. You can either design it yourself, maybe using tools like Canva or whatsoever, even on Microsoft Word, or you can use one that has already been standardized. But a lot of the things that have been done by others are bullshit. I'm going to tell you why. They are bullshit, especially in Cameroonian context, for those in Cameroon or Nigeria or Africa in general. You get, so you get your structure done. Let's go back to that. You get your structure. What do I mean by a structure? Use clear, organized structure with distinct sections. Like you want that. Let's say it's going to pass through AI, or even if it's a human that's going to read it. By the time the person takes it, the person should easily identify where your contact information is, your name, your email address, your probably your phone number, and maybe your location. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not necessary. But even if your location is necessary, you don't need to go and put maybe um quarter seven of Mayor Street, Moliko Boya. Come on, that doesn't make sense. Cameroon is enough, or Southwest Cameroon, or highest Boya. Cameroon is enough, right? You get, those are stuffs like that. Anyways, we're going to look through that. So you want them to, they should be easy, they should easily be able to find your information, right? Your contact information, your education, your work experience, your skills, your achievement, every necessary thing that needs to be seen. They should quickly be able to see it. You don't just mix things around. So I'm going to show you guys some formats shortly. Now, maintain consistent formatting, such as your font style. I know this might sound common, but a lot of people still go around making these mistakes. You want to check your vocabulary, you want to check your grammar. Those are details that you don't dare make mistakes. You don't dare to apply and you make mistakes in your grammar. That's already a red flag for you. You check your formatting. Are you using the same font size throughout? Okay, let's say your heading should have the same font size, and your explanations or your short bullet points should have the same font size, right? Your font style should be unique. It's not good to mix. Your font spacing should be ideal. You get, those are things that you need to check. Keep your layer clean, visually appealing, and easy to scan. Remember the emphasis, easy to scan. It has to be very easy to scan. That means someone should not stress by the time they are going through it, right? Limit the length to 1 to 2 pages, ideally, unless you have extensive relevant experience. 1 to 2 pages is ideal for somebody who's probably who's just coming from the university, or you're probably even schooling, or your experience is narrow, stuff like that, right? Don't put unnecessary information. Don't put unnecessary information. But now, if you have an extensive experience, lot of skills and stuff like that, that you know that you can use it to attract somebody, fine, you can go to 3. But come on, by the time you start going to 5, that's just rubbish. I don't see a need for your stuff going to 5. Contact information, very important. I've had a lot of experiences with people that they do a good CV. um they are remarkable candidates in terms of their skills and their experience, but you cannot find any contact information about them. They don't even mention their email, they don't mention their phone number or their LinkedIn profile. Even if you're not applying on LinkedIn, even if you're applying on let's say you're going to hand in the documents physically, please make sure you always have your email, your phone number, and if possible, your LinkedIn profile link, right? Worst case scenario, if somebody cannot get you through email, because maybe sometimes they can send you an email and the email too bounces, the email doesn't get to you. It happens, right? They can use your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profile is never going to bounce, or they can use your phone number. Even if it's an international opportunity, they can call you. Their international calls, right? So those are things that you should never keep. It might sound simple, but a lot of people unknowingly and probably mistakenly leave out this information. Optional, you can also add your LinkedIn profile here or your portfolio. Now, for your portfolio, especially when you're applying for something that demands a lot of skills, like let's say graphic designing, video editing, copywriting, photography, stuffs like that that really demand your skills, right? Let's say even programming, yeah, content writing, stuffs like that that demand your skills. You should have a portfolio. If you don't know how to have a portfolio, probably if God is gracious on you, I might show you how to get a portfolio for free. But let's just get to that later. Now, contact information. After your contact information, the next thing is your work experience, not even your education. Education comes underneath. I just mistook this order. Education comes under. First thing is your work experience. Why is your work experience important? Let me tell you people something. If you go on LinkedIn, let's go back to LinkedIn rapidly. Let's go back to LinkedIn. Hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, great, great, great. Awesome. I've seen some new people who have added. Now let's go to LinkedIn. Let me show you something. If you already have your LinkedIn profile, good. If you don't yet have yours, then you should probably think of getting one. There's no need to you not having a LinkedIn profile to you now. So I'm going to do something here. Duplicate. I don't want to use that one. That one will continue it for the job. Right. Let's continue something. So let me go here to my network. Let me show you something that a lot of people are doing on LinkedIn, and they think is good, right? They think is good, but it's actually bullshit. It's bullshit. Okay, good, good, good. Now let's look at this guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Jules, we have to use you as example, but let me show you for something. You see his profile here. You see his profile picture. He has put this banner of. Let's put it back. This banner of open to work. I don't know why this thing is showing here. But you can see it, right? It's written here open to work. First of all, his profile picture is very bad. It's it's not the best, but that's not my point. You see this banner of open to work here. Now, open to work, you're practically saying that you're jobless and you're looking for a job. And this is one thing good companies don't really like. And let me explain something to you, right? When someone wants to hire, especially for a skilled position, they are looking for somebody who is currently doing something. If you tell them that you're currently not having a job, you're not hired, you're not working in any company, or you're not working on any project, that you're trying to tell them that you're not skilled enough, because they are going to think that if you were skilled enough, then somebody should have hired you by now. You understand? And for good companies, they find it as totally no problem to wait for you to finish your term in another company before you come and join them. They'll prefer to probably wait for 1 month for you to resign and you clear off your desk in another company and come and join them if they value you enough, rather than taking somebody who is probably just jobless. That's why you're going to see they're going to put working experience of 5 years, 10 years. In fact, those things I guess they used to scare you, right? But don't worry, I'm going to also explain a little bit meat about that. Truth is, when it comes to working experience, if you're working under a good company, by the time you have 6 months of work experience, you should know everything that you need to know about that job. Everything that you need to know about that particular job, you should already know it by 6 months if it is a good company. So I personally, when I on a few cases that I've had to hire people, when I see you already have 6 months working experience, to me that's okay. To me, that's okay, right? 6 months to 2 years is okay. Now, after 6 months, what practically happens is that you're building up now your interaction with people, you're building up leverage, you're getting to network, you're getting to connect with people and stuff like that. So the same thing applies when they tell you that they need work experience of 5 years, stuff like that. They know that a lot of people will not have that work experience. Very fact. Now they want to scare those who are not aware. I've applied for a lot of stuff where they'll tell you work experience of how many years. I don't have them, but I ended up getting the stuff you get. So what happens is, first of all, you want to position yourself. You want to make them understand from your working experience. Okay, let's say I have a working experience of working maybe 2 years in this particular company. I put it down. Now I mentioned the details of what I was doing. Those details now is what's going to strike the person like, okay, if this person was able to do this stuff under 2 years, then I don't need to look for somebody who has 5 years experience. This person might be able to do it. And when they see someone who is young, they're even happy because they know that you can grow with them, you can last with them, right? Rather than somebody who is probably already at their peak. You understand? So I just wanted to show you guys that. Let's get back to our document and let's get going. So you mentioned your work experience, right? Your work experience. Describe your work history in reverse chronological order. That means you start from your most recent to your most ancient. Now, one other thing is that your work experience, a lot of us might have a lot of work experience. We have done a lot of stuff. I mean, the economy wasn't the best. So probably you've been a teacher in a primary school. Maybe you've been a truck pusher in the market. Maybe you've been a sales girl in one electronic shops in Moliko Boya. Maybe you've been an attendant or a waiter in a restaurant in Limbe, stuff like that, right? But now you're trying to apply, let's say, for the position of CEO or let's say accountant. Now, working an accountant, probably your experience as a sales girl in that shop at Moliko is going to be relevant. But your experience as a truck pusher, nobody cares. It's not relevant, right? You get so stuff like that. You need to eliminate them. I say a lot of people you're going to crowd. Most likely, theory, theory work experience is enough. Is ideal so long as you've been able to do the things that are demanded in what you're applying for, you've done enough. You get the point? Okay, good. So now for each role, provide a job title. What was your position? Were you an accountant? Were you a lawyer? Were you a doctor? Mention that, right? Your employer, that's the company or the person you were working for. Your employment dates, when did you start? That's going to give you. Sometimes this is not necessary, but a lot of times it's good. Sometimes it's not necessary. And let me explain to you why sometimes it's not necessary. Because it kills you sometimes when somebody sees, this guy works just for 6 months. This guy worked just for 6 months. That means he's not relevant enough. He doesn't have a lot of experience in this stuff. But whereas somebody who didn't put it, they are just going to forgo it. You understand? Maybe they can ask you now during the interview, or they might even forget. You get so sometimes it's not necessary to put the employment dates. Yes, I'm telling you reality. Sometimes it's not necessary. Very, 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 very sharp. So you have to be careful. Those are little things that people don't know. You get the point. So that's it. Be concise with your description and your responsibility. Use action words like instead of saying I was working in the management, or I was working in as a storekeeper. No, you as a storekeeper, what were you doing? You manage 10 people who were store reps. Okay, that's irrelevant, right? It shows your managerial skills. You develop, let's say, an application or a software that could help parents track their children in school. Good. That doesn't just say you are just an ordinary web developer. It shows how relevant you are in the job market, right? Okay. Or you say you implemented this strategy that was able to get this kind of results. You get so use this kind of words, use this kind of action verbs when you're describing your job. Let's say your job was accountant in Jeffobi Bakery. Right now, as an accountant, what did you do? you you develop, let's say, a new system of let's say tracking expenses or whatsoever. I don't know a lot about accounting job experience, right? But you mentioned the details. Right now, next thing is you quantify your achievements whenever possible. If you increase sales, put it there. You increase sales from which number to which number. Let's say you're a social media manager. You started managing an account where he had just 500 followers, but now you're able to grow it to 10,000 followers. Mention it there. You increase the followers from 500 to 10,000 within maybe 7 months. You get you increase the number of comments from 2 comments in a post to more than 100 comments in every post. Those are things that matter. You get the point. A lot of people don't know it, but this is what people want to see when they are looking at your experience. These are the things that people want to see. Now, when you're done with your work experience, the next thing you do is you put your education. Let me give you guys update. The most thing that is in your education, you probably need two, maximum three. Same thing. You don't need to mention your primary school where you had your first school leaving certification and common entrance. Don't try it. Except maybe that's the highest certificate you have, but don't try. Ordinary level, you most likely will not need to mention it, except you don't have a lot of, let's say you're probably just HND level, then you can mention your HND, your advanced level, and your O level. But now, even mentioning your O level, there is a way that you're going to style it. Let me tell you guys something. I think last week I mentioned how I was able to get my first job when I was just entering the second year in the university, right? Okay, good. Now, the thing is, when I was mentioning my ordinary level, in the ordinary level, by the way, I have 10 papers. Is it 10 or 11? 10, I think. Yeah, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 papers. So what happened is, when I was mentioning my educational system, I was specific, like, okay, I had A grades in this subject. I had A in this, I had A in this, I had A in this, I had this number of points. You get, so I didn't just say ordinary level in 2000, from let's say government bilingual high school Nyas or so in 2001. No, something like that, right? That's what most people do. But you're specific, okay, because what I was trying to do is was science related, right? So I needed to show them my strong background as a science student. I had an A in maths, A in and stuff and stuff and stuff like that, right? I'm not talking about my education here. So those are the things. Same thing again when I went to that in my advanced level. I had A in this, I had this number of points. You get, so when you want to mention your educational um background, you mention in a way that somebody's going to look at you like, wow, you get the point. Now, even if you didn't have all A's, probably before writing the GC, you were the best student in your class. Strike it there that you graduated as you completed your education as the best student in your class, or maybe the best student in your school. You get the point. So you just need to know how to fine tune it, right? Fine tune it now, of course, but know that you have to start with your degree. Let's say you have a master's, a PhD. You start with the most important, right? Your degree, let's say your bachelor, maybe you have an HND and stuff like that. So you mention it now. When you're mentioning your degree, if you have a GPA above 3, mention it there. You have a GPA of 3.5, you have a GPA of 3.7, you have GPA of 3.75. Okay, that's striking. Now, in that GPA of 3.75, that's not all. You don't just mention it and you leave it there. Now, you say you study courses like, I'm going to show you guys practical example. Let's go to, okay, let's go to my, this is one of, this is a CV that I drafted to show you guys something. Okay. Education. Good. Education. Look at something. Higher National Diploma in Petroleum System and Exploitation from Formic Polytechnic University. Southwest Regional Best Student in my specialty with a GPA of 3.07, placing me the fourth national best student. You get the point, right? Now, it's just that I didn't want to write a lot. I could go deeper to mention some of the things that I studied during my HND program. That's trying to sell myself. You get, it positions you higher. Like somebody looks at you amongst others and say, "Wow, this is somebody I would like to have amongst my team members." You get the point. You get, okay. Now, okay, let's even be specific. You look at this first one here, certificate in digital marketing, Google Digital Garage. Now, I said study courses such as social media marketing, SEO, SEM, display advertisement, mobile marketing, content marketing. Now, the truth is, somebody who is trying to hire, they might not have, they didn't probably study your field. A CEO didn't study marketing, most likely. So he doesn't know the details of what you studied in your program. He didn't go to your school, but he has an idea of what he's expecting from an employee in his company for this particular position, right? So it is your responsibility to tell him that you have these skills, you have this knowledge, and you can deliver on expectations for these particular stuffs. Hope you are together. Let me check. Hope I'm not talking to myself. Hope I'm not talking to myself. Are we still together? If you can hear me, please drop a comment in drop a comment, please. I don't know how many people are still listening. Hello? Are you guys still hearing me? If you can hear me, please put a comment. Please put a comment. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, just put a comment like I can hear you, or you just put an emoji. Let me know we are together. I just want to see one person. My God. Is it that you guys can't hear me or what? Jesus Christ. Hope I'm not talking to myself. Oh. Can you guys hear me? Okay, okay, okay. Great, great, great. So let's continue. Let's continue. Now, when you're done with your education, the next thing you want to do now is your skills and your qualifications. Now, identify the key skills and competencies relevant to the role you're applying for. Let's say you're applying for the role of a copywriter. As a copywriter, you need to know how to do good research. How do you do your good research? Probably from apps like Answer the Public, um, maybe from reading books, right? A lot of stuffs like that. So these are skills. These are skills you want to mention, that research, proofreading, editing, and stuff like that, right? Storytelling. These are skills. So you mention your skills, include both technical and job specific skills that are transferable skills. Transferable skills are skills that can cut across different departments, right? Transferable skills are things like team spirit. That's a transferable skill. No matter where you are, they need you to have team spirit. Let's say discipline. Those that they need you to be disciplined. Communication. They need you to be able to communicate, to talk to people, to engage people, to listen. You get, those are transferable skills. Problem solving. Those are transferable skills. Now consider including any certifications, license, or specialized training you've acquired. Okay, good. Achievements and awards, always mention that. If you have them, mention it. Okay, mention them. I remember back then I used to mention, I had a lot of achievements. I was okay, HNG, I was the best student in the southwest region, fourth best in Cameroon. Solar energy engineering, I was the best student in the whole of Cameroon. Level one, I was equally okay. No, level one, I finished the year as the second best student in this in the whole of level one, I think. There was equally another program that we did, the whole university. I was the best student for that. So you get right. These are achievements. Now, it's not just enough to go and say you were the best student in stuff. Let me say, for example, I was the best student in this particular program, and because I was the best student, I got an award for of, let's say, 5 million francs CFA. Now, somebody who is reading that, he doesn't need to know what the award is, because most often there are a lot of rubbish awards out there, right? So now when you tell him that you got a reward of 5 million cash, maybe as a scholarship because of that award or something. In his mind, he's like, I don't know what this award is, but I know that they don't give 5 million to anybody anyhow. So if they gave you 5 million, that means it was really relevant, and that means you did extremely well. You understand? So always quantify. You don't just want to mention your awards and your achievement, quantify them. Let them be able to see the vibes in it, right? Let them be able to see you as that top-notch guy. Okay. Now, next, tailored content, customize your CV for each job application. Of course, I already mentioned that, emphasizing the most relevant skills, experiences, and qualification. Align your CV content with the job description and the employee's requirement. I don't need to re-emphasize on this. It's you cannot just go without it, right? You can't ignore these things. You can't ignore it. Next, proofread. Carefully proofread. Proofread means you read over your document, right? You proofread to ensure that there is no errors, vocabulary, grammar, fonts, alignment, stuff like that, right? You reach, always reach, no matter how much you're in a haste, always proofread through your stuff. And it's always good to also ask someone else to check it for you. Now let's go back to the CV. Okay. Now, these are some things that you should not do in a CV. I'll start by one. Yeah, your nationality. You see my stuff here. Okay. In fact, let's go from the top. Okay, it starts with my name, Success KK Mafani. That's it, right? You see my email is there, blah blah blah. My LinkedIn profile, and then this is my social media handle. If you use um this username on almost all social media, you'll be able to find, not all but almost all. That's the username, right? Now after that, what did I do? I gave a little description on myself. This is how you want to structure your good CV. I said, I'm an innovative and detailed oriented digital marketer. Now look at details. I'm using keywords: innovative, detailed oriented, right? These are some of the things that people want to see. Even if you have 10 years of experience, if you don't have these little tricks, people might not get to work with you. Okay, with over 4+ years of professional experience doing what? Social media marketing, content marketing, SEO. You get the point, right? You can have experience, but experiences differ. So during your time, during your 1 year, during your 2 months of internship or whatever, what were you doing? You want to mention these details. These are things that sell you. So I mentioned a lot of mine, blah blah blah, and then I said, by understanding the brand values and market demand, I help brands build a strong online presence. Now, get here where I started. I said, by understanding the brand values and the market demand. So that means I don't just do things haphazardly. I make sure I understand what I'm doing. Again, it complements the fact that I said I'm detailed oriented. You get the point, right? Good. Now, blah blah blah, guaranteed return over investment. This is a word that you want to use as much as you can. Companies are not hiring you because they love you. They're not hiring you because you're your son or you're your father or something. They're hiring you because they want money. They want you to be productive. They want you to bring in more than what they are paying you, right? They want you to guarantee their return over investment, ROI. So you want to use that as much as you can. Now, I said, what am I looking for? Looking to contribute my talent and experiencing in expanding the brand's visibility across different channels. Now, just for context, this was a CV I just did for a social media management role. Now, these are things you should not do. I did them here purposely. Location, okay, you're on the center region, Cameroon, is important a little bit, especially if it is a job that demands your physical presence. But if it doesn't demand your physical presence, if it is a remote something, don't put it. If you'll be working from home, it's not necessary. It's just occupying unnecessary space. Nationality, Cameroonian. Nobody cares about your nationality except that they mention it that they need people only from this country. You don't need to put that there. Sometimes even when they mention it, you object that, right? That's just occupying irrelevant space. Sex, male, nobody cares what are your sex. In fact, as a matter of fact, sometimes you might be relevant enough, but probably they will prefer to want to have a female in that office. And because you mentioned that your sex is a male, they will not want you. Or maybe they wanted a male and you've just killed it right from the top by saying you're a female. You understand? Sometimes when you engage them right to the bottom, they'll overlook those details. But why you when you start telling them from the top that your sex, nobody cares about that. So I intentionally let these three things here. You're supposed to remove them. They are not necessary. These are the main things required in my personal information. I put them up here. My phone number, my email, my LinkedIn profile, my name. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. Now look at my job experience. Um, okay, let's go to this one. Digital marketing and SEO specialist at Lafa Inc. Ltd. Now, what did I do during that time? I mentioned manage the social media handles of blah blah blah. I mentioned Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Getting over one, yeah, 100,000 post impressions organically. Not everybody does that. So you're mentioning your strong points, right? Even if everybody does it, the fact that somebody didn't mention it, it gives you an upper hand above them. Had a minimum of 7.3 ROI for every advertisement campaign managed. That's massive. Created a niche tailored and interesting content for video, blah blah blah. That's good, right? So I'm mentioning the details of what I did. I mentioned action verbs. What did I do? You get? So you're mentioning that blah 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 blah. Education again, we already spoke about this part. Skills, you get? I mentioned my vital skills. Now you don't just want to combine skills. Put skills that are related to what you're trying to apply for. Excellent in digital research and SEO, good communication and people skill, expert copywriting, proofing, stuff like that, right? Those are skills that are going to help me. Now leadership and affiliations. What did I lead? Led an open door day marketing campaign that brought 300 plus participants with zero budget. I didn't have a budget of any franc or anything. I did that. You get? So those that shows leadership. Now this shows, it shows my skills, it shows my experience, it shows my competence and my leadership abilities to be able to manage people, right? Co-author of the book, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm a co-author of a book. If you have your junior ones in secondary school, mainly from five opposite, yeah, stuff like that, they can get that book, Academic Success Secrets. Okay. During my last 2 years at the university, I took part-time jobs in writing and proofreading thesis, report, and blah blah blah. Right. So these are leadership and affiliation skills. I equally part of the clubs, the school clubs like the Etsy Club, the Petroleum Club, a lot of stuff like that. Those are leadership and affiliations, right? It shows that you can go along with people, you can communicate, you can lead. African Synergy Pay Educator, blah blah blah. Okay, award. Southwest Regional, blah blah blah. Blessed student in Felamo Entrepreneurship Examination at Gofi. You get those are what hobbies, writing and reading. Now you don't just want to mention hobbies. They're not actually your hobbies. Usually your hobbies is playing video game, or else maybe you're trying to apply for the position of let's say a web developer. Web developer, of course, you always been working on your machine, and if your hobby is playing video games, the company might think like, this guy will be here instead of working, he'll be playing video games. You understand? So mention hobbies that are relevant to what you're trying to apply for. And I encourage you guys to love reading. Reading is very, very essential. It gives you a lot of knowledge. Okay, language. Now, language again, I'm telling you guys this thing. Language is necessary, especially when it's relevant to what you apply for. Because if your CV is in English, by default, we expect that you should understand English. You get the point. If it is in French, by default, that means you should understand French because we think you have done it by yourself. Now, if they are demanding a supplementary language in the job, that's when you want to mention language. If not, save that space. Now, references, I'll advise that you always put available upon request. Why? Somebody can go through your CV, is very good, especially in Cameroon. And then now they go to the references section, you go and write somebody's name, maybe one of your teacher, and the person that is reading it, he had a problem with that person in the past. He might just pour that anger on you. I'm very realistic in Cameroon, particularly in Africa. The person might just pour that anger on you and say, because you know this person, or because this person is related to you, or whatsoever, and this person did me bad when I was at this age or at this time, I'm not going to hire you. You get, those are things that happen in real life. Very soon, don't go and say your village people are pursuing you, or you're just ill luck or something. These are things that you should avoid. You get. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So, are we still together? Okay, I can still see some of you. Awesome, awesome. So, let's quickly run through. Now, we have seen that. Now, what are the differences between a CV and a resume? In some jobs, they're going to ask you for your resume. In some, they're going to ask you for your CV. So, what are the differences? First of all, the purpose and scope. CV is a comprehensive document that provides a detailed overview of your full academic and professional background, including research, publications, awards, and other achievements. CVs are typically used for academic, scientific, or research oriented positions, right? Whereas a resume is a concise summary of your work experience, your skills, your educational background, tailored to a specific job or industry. Now, it's true that sometimes they mix the two, you get, but there is a difference, especially for international organization. You need to know these differences. Don't go and they shouldn't ask you for a resume and you go and look for you go and be writing a CV. You get the point. Now, length. CVs are typically longer. That's even the main difference between the two. CVs are typically longer, often range from 2 to 5 pages or more because they have a lot of details, whereas a resume is usually 1 to 2 page length maximum. Level of details. CVs provide a comprehensive and detailed account of your educational background, your research, your publications, your awards, and other academic or professional accomplishments. Whereas a resume is, as just as the word says, resume is a summary. It offers a more focused and concise summary of your work history. So CVs gives more details, resume gives summary, right? The formatting and structure typically CVs typically follow a standardized format with distinct section for education, work experience, publication, research, awards, and other relevant information. Whereas resumes have a more flexible structure. You get, so you want to check that. Geographical differences, again, this is where it even becomes more important. In many countries, especially in Europe and academia, the CV is the standard format for a job application. Now, in the United States and some other countries like Africa in general, the resume is more commonly used. So, based on the location, you should know what you're using. Okay. Again, this document is going to be available for you. Now, we are done with our CV. Now, let's say we want to write a personalized letter, I mean, a cover letter, pardon me. Meanwhile, if you have a question, you can drop it in either you drop it in the comment section or you just jot it down. When we are done, you can ask me directly on WhatsApp. For those of you who are watching this and you don't have my WhatsApp number for one reason or the other, it's +237 671 844477 +237 671 8444 and 77. That's it. Okay, back to business. Now, your cover letter, most often when they ask you for your CV or your resume, they ask you to accompany it with a cover letter. Now, even if they don't ask you, especially when you're applying directly via email, where you need to write an email and you attach your CV to it, it's always good to attach your cover letter. Always good, right? So, how do you write a cover letter? A cover letter is the same like you're writing a normal letter, like your normal letter that you're writing. But now, cover letters, you need to know how to fine tune it. To be very detailed with you, let me tell you something. If you want to write a cover letter, just assume that the person you're writing to was standing in front of you and you were talking to the person. You're trying to convince the person to hire you. What will you see? Write your cover letter the same way you're going to talk. Like, write it as if you were speaking to the person. Like, when the person is reading it, let the person be able to imagine you one on one discussing with him, convincing him, persuading him, presenting yourself and stuff like that, right? That's the best way to write a cover letter or a motivation letter. So, how do you go about it? Personalize it, of course. Address the cover letter to a specific person, such as the hiring manager, the recruiter, or the CEO. It should be specific, right? Look the job description very keenly and identify who exactly you're writing to. Research for the company and the role. Tailor the cover letter to highlight how your background and your skills align with their needs. So you don't just want to write rubbish. Again, let them be able to see that you fit in, because people don't just need who is skills. There are thousands of people who are skilled, who have a lot of experiences in one thing or the other, but can your culture, can your personality feed into their team? This is one thing that companies look for the most, right? They want somebody who adapts to the company culture, who gets along with the working environment, especially good companies. This is what they look at too. So they want to know, why can your personality blend in? That's what you should make them understand. Hook the reader. Don't start by telling people that your grandmother was born in Santa in the Northwest, or in, I don't know, Garwa Bulai. I don't know. Don't start telling people stories about yourself. Start with something captivating, right? You don't have a lot of time. The person doesn't have a lot of time to waste on your profile. There are lots of people that have applied for that job. So grab the person's attention from the very first second. You get, start with a strong opening paragraph that grabs the reader's attention and explain why you are the ideal candidate. Why? Let me say, one easy way you can look at it is that, okay, you look at the job description. Let's say you're applying for the role of a social media manager, and you have read through the description and stuff. You go to their social media accounts, you look at the mistakes that they are currently doing. Now, you can start your cover letter by identifying those mistakes. That's going to grab their attention. They'll be like, wow, this guy is really, really interested in working with us. He has taken time to research about us and to see the things that we are facing as challenges. You get, not everybody is going to do that. Not everybody. So I'm telling you key details. That's one way you can grab people's attention. Identify their pain point. Let them be able to know that, okay, you are really the one who has the solution for them. Because for you to have solution, you should understand the problem. I mean, when you go to the hospital, you're probably ill or something. The doctor doesn't just give you medication. He consults you, right? So that he understands exactly what the issue is. This the same thing you're supposed to do here. You should be like the doctor, right? You should be like the doctor. Identify the problem and you grab their attention with the solution. You get the point? Okay, use the introductory paragraph to express your enthusiasm for the role and the company. Yeah, exactly. Showcase your relevant skills and your experience. Now, in your CV, you cannot explain full details of what you've done, but now your cover letter, you can write more, right? You can expatiate. You can tell them that, okay, this is exactly how you went about this thing. You can choose one key factor that relates to what you're trying to apply for, and you tell them how you've been able to do something in the past that can help them. You understand? So those are some of the things you do. Provide specific examples and accomplishments that demonstrate how you can contribute to the organization. If you work with other companies, feel free to mention them, except that you have a bad reputation. Then I don't see one reason why you shouldn't mention the companies you worked for in the past. Next, explain your motivation. Discuss why you're interested in the role. I know that let's be realistic. At the end of the day, We are all applying because we want money. Everybody knows that. But money should not be at the back of your mind. If you focus a lot on the money, you will not end up getting the money. But if you focus on solving problems, if you focus on providing value, if you focus on helping people, the money is going to come a lot. In fact, that's even one of the reasons I'm giving you all this information for free. When I started, nobody taught me. Until today, nobody has taught me these things. I made my mistakes by myself. I did my research by myself. I paid for books. I paid for programs and stuff. But today, here we are in an online webinar, and I'm teaching you all these details for free, right? You get, so it should just be in you that you should be passionate about helping people, passionate about seeing people get results, seeing people get better, seeing people have better lives. That's how you end up getting a better life for yourself, by helping others. You get, convey your passion and your enthusiasm for the opportunity, bridge the gap. Now, address any gap or weakness in your background and explain how you can plan to overcome them, and how your other strengths make up for them. Now, the truth is, don't be like the perfect candidate, right? Don't be like, that's why they always ask this question during an interview. Tell us a bit about your worst experience. You get, because they want to see, everybody makes mistake. You get, so one thing you can do is going ahead of them by telling them the mistake you already made and how you've been working on solving it so that it doesn't happen again. You understand? So those are some of the things. Next, call to action. Close the cover letter with a clear call to action, such as requesting an interview or expressing your eagerness to discuss. Now, one other thing I didn't mention here is that always be grateful. Always thank them. Thank you for considering my profile. Thank you for reading thus far. Thank you for showing interest in me. Always be grateful, right? It might sound small, but it's very, very important. Next, proofread and edit, of course. Proofread and check for spelling errors and stuff like that. Limit your cover letter to 3 to 4 page paragraphs and no more than 1 page in length. Yeah. 1 page, 1 page, 1 page. Max 1 page, 1 page. Maximum two. Okay, next. The main difference between a cover letter and motivation letter. We are almost rounding up. We're almost rounding up. Don't bother. Remember, if you have your questions, you can you can either drop them here in the comment section, or you can message me directly on WhatsApp, and I'm gonna attend to that. Okay, so here you go. Where were we? Can you guys still hear me? Okay, great. I see some people. So quickly, what are some of the differences between the cover letter and the motivation letter? Cover letter, the primary purpose of a cover letter is to introduce yourself, highlight your relevant qualification, and explain why you are the ideal candidate for a specific job. Of course, it always accompanies your CV. Whereas a motivation letter is to express your personal motivation and passion and enthusiasm for a particular educational program. Most especially, they mostly ask for motivation letter when you're applying for a scholarship, an internship, or a study program or something, right? Most often for a job, they'll mostly ask me for a cover letter. Motivation letter is mainly for academic research or internship or scholarship programs. Emphasis. Cover letter. A cover letter emphasizes your professional background, skills, and experience that makes you the best fit. Whereas a motivation letter emphasizes your personal interests, right? Just like the way it says, motivation letter is why are you motivated? What motivates you to want to get this thing? That's a motivation letter. So it emphasizes your personal interests, your goals, your reasons for applying for this specific opportunity, your ambitions, and all that. Tone and the approach. Cover letter. The tone of a cover letter is typically more formal and focused on demonstrating your qualifications, whereas a motivation letter is often more personal, passionate, and reflective. So, a little bit, I'll say that motivation letter is like an informal letter, whereas a cover letter is a formal letter. A little bit, I didn't say it is really a little bit, because a motivation letter, you're practically talking about yourself, your background, your ambitions, your future projections, and stuff like that. Okay, next is your structure. The cover letter follows a more standardized format with sections like an introduction, body, highlighting your qualifications, and a call to action. Call to action never end without a call to action. Whereas a motivation letter, the structure of a motivation letter is more flexible. Again, more reasons why I said it's like an informal letter. It allows you to organize your thoughts and experience in a way that best conveys your personal motivations. Length. Cover letters are usually 3 to 4 paragraphs and not more than 1 page in length. If you have to overwrite 2 pages, don't exceed that. Whereas a motivation letter can vary in length, often ranging from 1 to 2 pages depending on the specific requirement. Sometimes it goes to 5 pages. Yes. Context. Cover letters are typically used when applying for a specific job or position, whereas a motivation letter is commonly used when applying for educational programs, scholarships, again, internships, and research opportunities, just as I said. So that's it. We just a recap. We have seen how to write a good CV. We have seen the difference between a CV and a resume. We've seen how to write a good cover letter. We've seen the difference between a cover letter and a motivation letter. Now, quickly before we round up, okay, I'm not seeing any question. I think nobody has a question. Yeah. Again, I started by saying that identify your why. Why are you applying? When you know why you're applying, go to the job, read the details, make a new CV for every job you want to apply. I know it can be strenuous, but it's better you stress and do it right and get what you're looking for than that you do one thing for every opportunity and at the end of the day you don't do it. Because a lot of people have tried using LinkedIn and they feel like at the end of the day, LinkedIn doesn't get anything good. They feel discouraged and they start saying LinkedIn is bad, it's useless and stuff. That's because you're trying to do it in a wrong way. If others are doing it and getting global opportunities, then why shouldn't you? You get. So at the end of the day, there's one saying I like going with, is that all of us like to be successful, all of us like to be rich, all of us like to be influential. But the problem is that we don't want to pay the price. And that's even one reason why a lot of people are going to go to hell. Not because they don't like heaven, but they'll feel like, oh, I need to stop fornicating, so I'll not be having sex again. Child God. I'll need to probably stop drinking alcohol. I massa. Stuff like that, right? So you just need to pay in the price. You need to pay the price if you want to really get what you're getting. Trust me, I've told you, you're going to be getting offers of 6, 7, 8 figures and probably even nine. Yes, there are people who get paid billions monthly salary, billions. I don't want to mention their names, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Okay, so for a recap, for those of you who didn't go through the last session, when you want to look for a job, you come here. If you're using your desktop or your laptop, you come here. This place like a briefcase. This is where you're going to see jobs. You click on it, and then you can search. You can search for the job. Yeah, you add the location, right, and you look for what you're looking for. So that's it. That's a little bit about the LinkedIn, and that's what we had to do for today. Now, some of you mentioned the fact that you don't know how to go about interviews. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you guys. Let me quickly show you guys something. Let's look for a job and apply for. Let me see. Okay, let's look for this one. Let me just apply. Let me show you guys how to prepare for your interviews. Mm, Anyways, let's just use this one. How many years? Target audience four, four, no four. I just want to show you guys something. When you apply, LinkedIn gives you enhanced training. Have you experienced one in digital marketing? Yes. Do you think you're only I'm not sure I'm going to get this, but let's just apply. Yes. Let's see. Let me just put 200k. 200,000. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five. No, let me add. Okay, right. Let's just do that next. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. Review, blah blah blah. When you apply for a position on LinkedIn, okay, good. I've applied, right? Good. They say your application was sent to Visa, blah blah blah. Next, show recruiters that you're open to work. No, no thanks. Now come here. You come here on your LinkedIn profile, you see something, prepare for interviews. Immediately you apply for a job on LinkedIn, this is going to show, right? So you quickly come on it and you click on it, prepare for interviews. LinkedIn already has a training session. So it is needless me doing training again on this particular stuff you get. So practically what they have done here is that they have mentioned most of the questions that they're going to ask you during an interview. Something like, tell me about yourself. What is your greatest strength? What is your greatest weakness? Why should we hire you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do you handle conflict? How do you handle challenges? How do you handle failure? How do you handle rejection? How do you handle rejection? How do you handle rejection? How do you handle failure? How do you handle rejection? How do you handle failure? How do you how to approach this question. Let's play it and you guys should watch. Oh, sorry. Let's play that again. Okay, so she's trying to explain how to approach the answer, right? How to give a valid answer. So listen. So what she's trying to say is that when they say tell me about yourself, you don't go and start telling a little about your background. You were born in 1909, you're an orphan, stuff like that. It's not really necessary, right? You want to talk about yourself relevant to the job application. Anyways, I'm not continuing because you can always have it on your profile. You pay attention to when you're watching it, right? Now, they didn't just give a video, but these are sample examples. These are sample examples, right? Of people, answers. These are them here. These are answers. So you can model it. Unlock. Oh, okay. To have this, you need to go to LinkedIn Premium. No. Anyways, that's fine. That's fine. You just go through that and you watch through that example and you'll be able to get it right. So that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it. We have practically gone through everything we had in schedule today. So for interviews, there are just a few things that I think LinkedIn omitted, and I might check that and give you details later. I might do a short video, I don't know, maybe by Monday, for some things like how you dress. Interview, if you're going for an on-site interview, ladies, stop wearing Hermes slippers. Stop that. Stop wearing, in fact, there's a lot of stuff. Just dress properly. Back to your CV. Don't add your picture on your CV. The CV doesn't need a picture. That's why I will show you guys these examples here. I will tell you that there are a lot of bad examples. All these things that need your picture, they are bad. The style even is bad. Let me show you guys a good one. Let's see if we have a good one here. A lot of them are rubbish. Yes. Let's see. Good. This one. This is a good format for your CV. It might sound simple, but it is very, very okay. Your name, your personal information, your objective, your experience, educational background, and right. That's just it. You don't go around hairy. You don't go around writing rubbish, putting profile picture. It's not necessary. I used to do those mistakes in the past, but I learned it the hard way. So I'm telling you right now, you don't need to do that. Don't go and make those mistakes. You get so that was it. That was it for today, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor having you here. My name is Success Giki Mafani. I'm your host, and hope you enjoyed this. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to message me on WhatsApp +237 671 844477. Thank you very much for sticking to this far. Thank you all for showing. I can see a lot of people who showed up for today. God bless you. And one last thing before we go, right? I'm gonna be real with you. You see, in this job market, let me be realistic. People use jazz, people use medicine to get jobs, right? People use witchcraft. People go to soothsayers and babalao and all these voodoos and stuff to get jobs, to get opportunities, to get contract and stuff like that. So in this world, you need to accept and realize the spirituality of things. You cannot afford to be normal. You are either on the good side or you're on the bad side, but at least you should be on one side. You get so I'm gonna be real with you. For you to experience the kind of success that I have had, for you to experience the kind of great results that you aspire for, right? The best advice I'm going to give you is to hold on to God. The Bible says, as many as believed him, he gave them the power to become sons of God. And it's the sons that have access to his blessings. You, if you're not really qualified as a son of God, you just have access to grace. He'll just let things be because he doesn't want to punish you. But to experience the real blessings and victories and successes of life, you need to be identified under his own. You get so and when I mean identify under his own, is that accepting Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior and living according to his principles. I don't know what you think, but if you're probably the kind of person that you're on heat all the time, maybe you want to nag stuff like that. That's not really necessary. I'm gonna tell you guys an example. Look at this guy, Reuben. Reuben was Jacob's first son. When Jacob was dying and he was blessing his children, he said, Reuben, you are the arm, you're the strength of my right hand. Yes, he was the firstborn, but he became the outcast amongst all his brothers. Why? Because of a few minutes of pleasure of sex that he went and had sex with was his stepmother, one lady, or stuff like that. You get so don't jeopardize your future because of some minutes of pleasure. Right? Don't jeopardize. Your future is too precious. Your lineage, your offsprings are too precious for you to jeopardize it on a few minutes of pleasure, or probably going to smoke, or probably going to, I don't know, stuff like that. A lot of things that we youth we do. I personally, I've been privileged that right from my youth I understood the things that I wasn't supposed to do. I know some of us go in terrible environments. In fact, I grew in a very bad environment. I didn't have my parents beside me, right? It was just a personal decision. So I know that things can be challenging, the peer pressure is there, but at the end of the day, we all want a good life. And if you want that good life, you need to take steps to making sure that that good lives become your reality. You get so if you want to accept Jesus, I just want you to join me wheresoever you are and make this prayer with me. Put your right hand on your chest. Say, Lord Jesus, I accept that I'm a sinner and that you came to die on me on the cross of Calvary. Please forgive me for my sins, purify me, wash me, and accept me as your own. Come and be my Lord and my personal Savior. Come and be the head of my life. I accept you today and I declare that I'm a child of God. If you made that declaration, congratulations, you've joined the winning family. And if you need guidance, if you need assistance on somebody to mentor you or to grow you in the Christian faith, feel free to message me on WhatsApp. My number is +237 671 84447. Message me and I'm going to be very, very happy to accompany you in this journey and to support you and to strengthen you. So God bless you and I wish you all the best. Remember, if you have any challenge or anything, feel free to message me and I'm going to be available to attend to you. God bless you and have an exciting weekend. Remember to go to church tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. See you in church.